You there, old woman. What brings you to my garden?
I come to plant a seed, Highness. A perfectly lovely thorn seed.
I'm sorry. You cannot clutch the thorns here.
Oh, but Highness, these thorns are the sharpest, prettiest thorns you'll ever see.
Which is why I do not want them. I will not have thorns, or they might prick my daughter's finger.
Your daughter's finger? Your daughter's finger? You care more for your daughter's finger than you do my beautiful thorns.
I do.
Consider carefully, Highness, and count yourself blessed. I do not often ask twice. Perhaps I heard you wrong. Your daughter's finger, or my thorns. I will not ask again.
It is no choice. My daughter is the more valuable.
So, you dare deny me? Me? The dread witch of what?
Even the witch of what cannot plant thorns in my garden.
It is not your garden I care for, O king. But I have been perfecting curses. And on this very night, a thorn seed, an ice seed, shall be planted in your precious daughter's heart. Behold, she shall blossom, a girl with hair as fair as the sun, and eyes that shine like sapphires. But the thorn inside her heart will keep her cold, and she will love none but herself. If, by her 21st birthday, the Princess Arabella is not touched, the one thing in all the world is hot, as her heart is cold, the thorn inside her will burst, and she will die.
And the witch of What's curse came true. The Princess Arabella grew, and her hair was as fair as the sun, and her eyes shone like sapphires. But she was utterly selfish, caring for none but herself. The king's love never faltered. He remembered the witch's words, and he vowed to find the one thing in all the world that was as hot as his daughter's heart was cold. To the east and the west, to the north and to the south, the king searched far and wide. But search as he might, he never found it. So 15 years and 364 days passed. By then it was only 24 hours until Princess Arabella's 21st birthday. 24 hours until the cold thorn in her heart of the cold princess would burst, and she would die. But the king could not have that, now could he?
What do you want? Don't you know how late it is?
Princess, I hope I'm not disturbing you, my lady. I only wondered if...
It's awful weather to be out for a walk. Can't you see it's raining?
Indeed, my lady, I have noticed.
There now. You're not all stupid. Now, go home and ask your mother for something hot to eat.
But please, you, my lady, that's why I've come here.
You must be mistaken. This is not your home, boy.
Yes, I know, Princess. It's only, I thought, perhaps you might consider...
The longer you stand here, the longer you have to stay out in the rain. Now go!
I haven't gotten home.
Go! Stupid boy.
us, and he entrusted us with her care. We treated her the wisest women in the world.
And yet our wisdom all combined not to make the princess kind.
We praised her for her golden curls and blue eyes. We praised her for her angelic voice and winning smile. We praised her for her beauty. Shame on us! We might have done better to praise the dog. We might have done better to praise the frog. At least we might have turned into a prince.
But the witch of what's cursed has prevailed, and we three seem to have failed.
The last princess that might have been.
Very sad. We must speak to the king.
We must. We will.
I'm glad we are agreed, but one more fault do I foresee.
And what's that?
We haven't found a solution yet.
But solution or no, the world's three wisest women went to the king and shared their conclusion. The time was almost up. The Princess Arabella had not touched the one thing in all the world that was hot as her heart was cold. She had never shown the tiniest spark of kindness. The witch of Watts' curse must not come true. Something must be done.
All these years we sought to prove
Who to what's curse wasn't true. All we tested and all we tried.
hasn't made the princess kind.
The hungry widow,
The crippled girl,
the blind beggar, the little orphan boy,
all come to the princess's door, and one by one she turns them all away.
without the least thinking of a thought that she was once just like them. Without the least blinking of a blot of pity, of kindness,
Of love,
it is unthinkable. It is hard-hearted.
it is unwise.
I know.
Her words are cruel as snow is white.
Her thoughts are hard as witch's ice. Her heart is cold. The curse is unbroken. She has forgotten what's been done for her. She has forgotten who she was.
She has forgotten you.
Is my daughter, I am her father. She will remember, it will be so. She is my daughter, I am her father. She will remember, it will be so. I saw her once a poor and lonely orphan girl, nothing for shoes and scraps for clothes. How could she be on the street, left alone, defenseless? Life should not be so. Where are her parents? And they said they didn't know. Where are her friends? Does no one care? How could people be so cruel to a child without a father? It's more than I can bear. Then she looked at me and looked me in the eye. And all the world just disappeared. All at once my heart was lost. I never could survive.
so the Princess Arabella slept, entirely unmindful of the crisis she had created, the crisis that awaited. But the king did not sleep. Up and down, down and up, he paced the floor of his royal chamber, desperate to break the Witch of Wat's curse. The world's three wisest women also did not sleep, but back and forth and back, paced the highways and byways, the sideways and driveways, desperate to break the Witch of Wat's curse. And unbeknownst to all, there was someone else who did not sleep. A prince in a far-off kingdom had heard of the princess, with hair as fair as the sun, and eyes that shone like sapphires. He had heard of the witch's curse, and the thorn in the princess's heart. The man's name was Laud, and he was Prince of Nod. The brave Prince Laud did not care much for thorns. He only cared to right the wrongs and sing the songs and turn what ought not to be into what ought. Leaping aboard the swiftest of his swift stallions, Prince Laud rode far into the day and further still into the night. His heart was set, desperate to break the Witch of Wat's curse. But no matter how fast the prince could ride, or how his horse's hooves did fly, someone else was destined to reach the castle first.
Who is he who dares to knock at this door at 5 o'clock? These are shady, if you must know, and I always ask why you're so slow. I'm not slow. We're just tired. Oh, didn't get much sleep last night, I see. Up late in the highways and byways, sideways and driveways, eh? Desperate to break a curse. What do you know of curses? Oh, a little bit of this and not too much of that. But I must come to speak with you. I have a gift for the king.
Who is he who dares to knock on my door at 5 o'clock?
The sleeplessness is mutual, I see. Pacing up and down and up, Highness. Desperate to break a curse.
What do you know of curses?
I know your daughter has a thorn in her heart. I know the thorn is made of ice. I know that in 13 hours the ice will burst, and so I've come to give you a present.
A thorn bush? Why, oh woman, do you give me a thorn bush?
A pretty little thing, isn't it? Water's well and it will thrive long after the princess is not alive. The witch of White and the witch of Black?
No, she's on vacation. This is the Witch of What?
Yes, I am the witch of White. And I have come to wish you happiness, O king. In this the last day remaining to your daughter. Enjoy it well. When the clock strikes 6 o'clock, the sun will set on her last day. And when the sun is set in full, your daughter's heart will freeze away.
Enough! One move of my sword, and you'll never cuss again!
As you wish, Highness. But killing me will not save your daughter. She will die.
Your curse can still be broken. My daughter will live.
Impossible! The only way for your daughter to live is for her to touch the one thing in all the world as hot as her heart is cold. And for that, you must find the rose that never was. But search high or low, search far or near, search wide or deep, search here or there. You'll never find it.
The rose that never was. The rose that never was. Tell me, where is this rose that never was?
It never was, Your Highness.
It cannot be found unless
to wear the rose that never was. We will break the Witch of Watts' curse! We must!
Yes, sir.
Let it be so.
Hail, King! I am Prince Alard, and I come from Nod on the back of my swiftest stallion. And I have heard of a girl with hair as fair as the sun and eyes that shine like sapphires.
You are not the first prince to hear of such a girl. Tell me, Prince Lard, do you sing with a song to win my daughter's hand?
If a song could melt the thorn of ice, I'd gladly sing it.
You know of the thorn?
Or if a gift would break the witch's curse, I'd gladly bring it.
You know the curse?
I know, O King, and yet I have come, for I wish to right the wrongs and sing the songs and turn what ought not to be into what ought.
And with your love, do you suppose the thorn of ice in my daughter's heart might be melted?
Pardon, sire, but if love alone could melt the thorn of ice, I believe your love would have done that already.
You were right. Love alone cannot break this curse. We must find the rose that never was.
The rose that never was?
It is the only way for Bella to touch the one thing in all the world that is hot. Is her heart is cold.
My strength is yours, O King. My strength, my skill, and my soul. What would you have me do?
Your sword will not avail us in this fight, I'm afraid, Prince Lord. Not by might will the thorn of ice be melted. The world's three wisest women seek even now for the rose that never was. Your part, I fear, is much harder. I give you the task in these 13 remaining hours that I could not accomplish in 15 years.
What task is this, O King?
You must teach my daughter with the thorn in her heart the meaning of kindness.
And so our brave Prince Laud put away his sword and accepted the hard task of the noble king, while the world's three wisest women searched the records for any mention of the rose that never was. And the Witch of Watt planted a whole row of thorn seeds to celebrate her upcoming victory. And finally, somewhere around noon, the Princess Arabella woke up.
Oh, what dreadful dreams I've had. All about rags, and a rose, and a witch in an icy castle, and the silliest pig you ever did see. I don't know what's gone into me lately. All these dreams about ice. Is it cold in here? Pig, run upstairs and shut the window. You know I don't like it left open. And leave me mine here. What's a living waxwork? Silly Paige. She never can get things right. Oh, how pretty I am today.
Arabella! Arabella! Arabella, it's time for your lesson, princess. Now, let me hear your Spanish vowels, por favor. A, E, I, O, U.
A, E, O. Ow!
Ooh, Arabella, not ow. Ooh, you must balance your lips like so. Comprende? And let this sound be strong and comprehensive. You are not a yawning gato, see? Come, otra vez. so hard to be.
So very hard to be.
So hard to be what you're not. Why is he my student?
Oh, why is he my teacher?
I don't get paid enough for this.
He's such an ugly creature.
I'd rather in my garden.
I'd rather fix my hair.
I need a long vacation.
I have valuable gowns to wear.
It's so hard to be.
Very hard to be.
Insufferably.
Emphatically.
Remarkably.
Pleasantly.
Frustratingly. It's so hard to be what you're not.
Well, don't just sit there, Paige. Open the door.
Mi amor! I've written a poem for you, let me say. Your lips, they are red. Your eyes, they are blue. I have written this poem special for you.
Not Please, princess, repite por favor. A, E, I, O, U.
I sent you another poem, see?
A, E, I, O, U. All these songs have speech of the beautiful princess, but she is even greater than I imagined.
Hey! This isn't no fair! Where do I come from? I was here first!
Yes, but I come last, and the last shall conquer.
How dare you raise your sword in the presence of this queen?
Queen?
Fortunately for the princess, her cries fell on deaf ears. Her abductor did not put her down. He was quite prepared for her shouting and her blows. The king had warned him all about that. For this man, as you well know, is our brave Prince Laud, and kidnapping the princess was the only way he could see to get her to the place where he might begin to teach her kindness. Meanwhile, let us eavesdrop on the doings of a true brute, traitor and thief. For, if you must know, one of the king's 3 wisest women was not so wise as she seemed.
You've broken at least a dozen swords with that misstep, and probably my pinky as well. I'm very sorry. I had to make sure I wasn't being followed. Followed? Well, you're one of the world's 3 wisest women. Welcome to my thorn garden. What brings you here? Oh, I grew tired of poking and soaking in books. I come to tell you how King is trying to reform the cold heart of his daughter. What? With only 5 hours left, he's still trying. How delightful. He doesn't give up easily, does he? He's commissioned us to search the records of the Royal Library to find the clue for the rose that never was. The rose that never was. The rose that never was. How does he know of the rose that never was? I believe you told him. Yeah. I must have gotten angry. I never pay any attention to what I say when I'm angry. I do hope I only hinted at it. If you had given more than a hint, I believe the curse would have ceased to exist. And now, with my hint, the king searches the royal library for the rose that never was. He must not find the riddle. Riddle? Oh, we found no riddle. Recipes, reflections, remembrances, and a romance or 2, but no riddle. Still, it is too close. Much too close. If the king finds the riddle that once could be, he finds the rose that never was. No, he mustn't. He mustn't! Ah, and he can't. He won't. He shan't. No! Not for him or for her. All the riddles in all the world shall not avail them, for I shall ensure the princess and the rose never both can meet. Come, you who once were 3 but now are 1, come with me. Where are we going? To have a chat with the king's beloved daughter.
But the Witch of What would have a difficult time finding the king's beloved daughter, for as you well know, she had been kidnapped. In fact, at that very moment, Prince Laud was lugging our poor persecuted princess away from her home, her mirror, her hairbrush, and her pile of unconscious suitors. When at last he consented to put her down, Arabella found herself in a place unlike any other place she had ever seen, or at least unlike any other place she wanted to think she had seen. The very honest and absolute truth of the matter was, it looked very much like the place Arabella had been before she was brought into the home of the king.
We are here, princess.
What? Already? And I was just being comfortable.
Do you recognize this place? Before the king adopted you, you called this home. You would not remember kindness in the castle of the king. Perhaps you will remember it here. That is why I brought you. Your father seeks to melt the ice, as I do.
Ice. I see no ice. It must have melted already.
There is a thorn of ice in your heart. I see it every time you speak. You will die in 5 hours if it is not melted.
Ah, I see you know the curse of the Witch of West. Pity you actually believe it. I've never seen the slightest thing wrong with myself. Now, I'm sure this has all been quite charming, but if you will kindly call the closest carriage, I believe I know a better way to travel than the one you've been brought up to.
I will not take you back.
Excuse me?
Your father said I might bring you here, while he searches for the rose that never was.
And my father is a fool.
He loves you very much, Princess.
As do you, I suppose.
Yes!
Oh, so that explains why you carted me off and dragged me out here. I see it so clearly. Such riches as these, how could I ever forget? Now take me home.
For now, this is home. You will not see the castle again, I'm afraid, unless you remember.
Well, then I recognize this street and that particular cardboard box. There. Are you satisfied? Now take me home.
You are.
Is he really so slow? This is my old house.
I'm quite aware of that.
Then I demand that you return me, take me home.
This is your old house.
I'm quite aware of that.
Then tell me, dear, precisely where you'd like to go.
Somewhere in all this great wide kingdom, just one little spot. Somewhere in all this great wide kingdom, anywhere you're not.
Let it be so.
Wait, you can't just leave me here. I'll tell my father. He's the king. He'll throw you in prison. He'll hang you for treason. Oh, this place is awful. I can't believe I ever lived here. What is that smell?
Pardon me, miss. Oh, you have to excuse him. He ain't showered in a couple of weeks. Oh, in fact, neither have I. As far as that's concerned.
Can't shower in the right no right, miss.
Of course, if that was leave too much rain, we'd all get washed on down the river, like they did in that ruin 20 years ago. Washed away and never returned. Not a soul nor a shoe.
I, for one thing, I might prefer to be a little bit more grungy, of course, so. What, eh? Fred!
Fred! Who are you miserable creatures?
Did she ask herself to the point of her identity, gentlemen?
Aye, that's what I know. Well, you just take a seat right here now, miss, and we'll tell it all it is as you wish to know. I may have got a solution for you, Princess. You see, as humble ruffians as we are, it behooves us every now and again to go up to the castle and put on a wee bit of a play.
Theatre! Up mind the big folks calling.
If we was to put on one of these plays of ours and dress you up as a gypsy girl, why, we'd have you back in that old castle of yours in no time. That we would. A clever player you'll never find.
Phil? You want to turn me into a gypsy? I am a princess! A princess! Princes do not play the part of a gypsy!
Was it really that bad?
You could have put some more into it.
Yeah, I want to see you thinking like that.
And so Arabella forsook the assistance of those helpful souls who might earnestly and perhaps even successfully have aided her. However, she could in no wise find her way out of the dilapidated cardboard town on her own. Finding herself back at the box that had once been her home, she sat down and began to cry. As that did not do the least bit of good, she then fell asleep. As the princess slept, down in the deepest, darkest recesses of the royal library, the world's three wisest women suddenly became aware of the fact that now they were only two.
I beg your pardon, O King, but one of us seems to have disappeared.
Quite vanished in half. Or at least a third of us anyway.
We once were three, but then lost one, and now are two.
Oh. What do what's left of us?
Oh, King?
You once were three, but then lost one, and now you're only two. So this is what has become of the world's three wisest women. The which of what? You're not welcome here. Where's the king? The king is questioning every gardener in the city, asking about the rose that never was.
Where is the prince?
The prince is off pacing the streets of Cardboard Town, trying to devise a way to make the princess kind. Huh. Look well at your books, ladies. Time is running out.
What will you do?
I go to comfort a little lost princess who is growing very cold. No, you don't! Oh, yes, I do. And you cannot stop me. For if the princess is to live, you must find the rose that never was. And for that, you must find the one clue on the one book in the one shelf in all the world that speaks of the rose that never was. Show off!
No, which of us is right? We must keep looking.
And so the world's two wisest women went back to their impossible task, while the king questioned every gardener in the city about the rose that never was, and the prince paced the streets of Cardboard Town, trying to devise a way to make her princess kind. And Arabella slept on the ground, slowly growing colder and colder and colder. The clock struck 5. The sun had only 1 hour left in the sky. The time was waning, the clock was ticking, and Arabella was feeling very cold. But down in the deepest, darkest recesses of the Royal Library, candles burned brightly.
Since the sounds light, beware fiery breath as it may singe. I'm sure it would. Next, take the... And what's this? A riddle? I can't quite make it out. What does it say? The rose that never... The rose that never was! Oh, stop snoring! Wake up, I found it!
You found it?
I found it!
What is it?
The riddle we've been seeking, the help that did and does, the answer to the curse. I found the rose that never was.
And clutching the one clue in the one book, on the one shelf, in all the world could help the princess, the world's two wisest women, rise to tell the king. But we must leave them running, I'm afraid, for something is about to happen to the princess. Who will remember we left her in Cardboard Town, crying herself to sleep, and more or less at odds with all the world. Arabella greatly hoped that when she woke, she would be back in her comfortable bedroom with her favorite mirror and her gilded hairbrush, which she desperately was missing. However, as you will see, this is not what happened.
Oh, sweet is the street. Oh, then no, not sweet is the street. Oh,
Hey! What's gotten into you, little lady? Still asleep at this hour? Old What's footsteps are coming near even now, so you better make yourself scarce. And she's never been too pleased to see a stranger here. Nor a friend, for that matter.
You had the faintest notion who you were speaking to, you would not have leave with such an uncouth tongue.
And if you had a faintest notion who was coming, you would not treat me such ungrateful ear. Oh, what's a mean one, I tell you. Take for nothing, she's known as the Witch of White. There, I knew you'd heard of her. Now, I ain't no coward, but I wouldn't run across the likes of her. So if you was wise, you would follow my lead.
I'll sit anywhere I please.
Well, don't say I didn't warn you.
without a blanket or a rose.
Why would I want a rose?
Why would you want a blanket?
Go away. I don't wish to speak with you.
Oh, but princess, it's you entirely we came to see. While your father searches for the rose that never was.
You must be the Witch of what? I know you by your thorns and by your cackle. But your voice is familiar, but your face is ugly, and I do not know it.
She is one who was 3, and now is 2, and might become 1 if we wait long enough. The world's 3 wisest women are 3 no longer.
Do you know the way back to the castle?
Yes, but it is too late, and you are too cold, princess. Quick! You get her feet, I'll get her hands. We'll drag her away to a place where the king will never find her. In the 51 minutes he's gone loud. It's heavier than I thought. Well, perhaps it's strength that we have not. I love it! The box! Put her under the box! And we'll sit on top until the sun is set! I put her now. What's the dress? What's the dress? Hey! Very nice. Very nice. Okay. Charmed and sure, charmed will be when the girl does scream.
And so our story might have ended quite sadly for nearly all involved if the Witch of Wat had not forgotten one little thing. This little thing was a simple thing called kindness. The Witch of Wat had forgotten that there are many things in this world warmer than Arabella's cold, cold heart.
That wasn't very nice of them old girls. Throwing the princess under the box and all. Of course, she wasn't none too nice to me neither. Now was she? And I was just trying to help. Hey, but no grudges from you, thank you kindly. Can't be too particular when it comes to things like sticks and boxes and a witch called what? Hurry now. Run, little legs. Fast as still can be. We've got to warn the others.
Meanwhile, at the front door of the palace, hope was growing dim.
Every gardener in the city. Not one of them knows the fuzziest fuzz about the rose never was.
And I have taken the princess back to her home where she once lived, and yet not a look or a word of mine can make her icy cold or kind. She will not remember.
We think you have failed.
We found it, O King, we found it. It was in the middle, at the end, at the beginning. Right up to the part about how to tame your dragon. And that is why we skipped over it thrice before. But no moment of matter or magic. Now that we've found it, shall we tell you what it says?
Of course.
In all matters relating to the thawing of cold, cold hearts, please refer to the following riddle. With the act that hasn't been, fell the snow that wasn't twice. And the rose that never was grew the flame to melt the ice. Or is it true the game to milk of mice? Oh dear, I really must get my glasses.
Perhaps it is, or
Perhaps it's entirely different. I really should be the one to say. Well, there you have it. The answer to the riddle, the key to the look, the last piece to the puzzle, the icing on the top, or in this case, topping on the ice. Etc. Farewell to you, Prince. I wish you the fairest of faces and dearest of races in the 32 minutes the princess had remained until her 21st birthday.
that's really the time.
Well, then we must fly. We promised the lady Prince we'd be her ministers. Hello. Good day. Are you not visiting me?
With the act that hasn't been, no, the snow that isn't wise.
And the rose that never was grew the flame to melt the ice.
The act that hasn't been. The act that hasn't been.
Oh, of course! The act, the princess! She's never been kind!
If my daughter will be kind,
Then what hasn't been will be.
and the rose that never was,
Will grow the flame that does.
now the ashen will not sing.
If the curse could be undone by my sword or by my power, then every foe I break, fighting for the sake to melt the thorn's final hour, and the curse will be just a memory, and we will look up and say, love has won the day.
And to see the battle won. Don't go storming any gates, but lover without him. And the curse is overcome, and the curse will be just a memory. And we will look up and say, love has won the day. Yes, the curse will be just a memory. And we will look up and say, love has won the day.
If the princess will be kind,
My daughter will be kind.
Your Highness, I must find the princess.
And so, with hope renewed, our brave Prince Laud sped towards Cardboard Town in search of Arabella. He knew now what he had not known before, that the rose that never was would only be in the act that hadn't been. All it took was kindness, kindness from the princess. Her heart was cold, the thorn was ice, it was true. But surely now at last the ice had thawed, if only a little. Surely at last Arabella had remembered how to be kind. But our brave Prince Laud had little idea what had happened to the princess while he was gone. And he had no idea at all that someone else was looking to help the princess too.
Our princess sure looks so big.
Well, look, we've got to see that she doesn't pull. And then we're going to hold it because...
But not until she's given the magic.
So, and then the princess will...
But not so easy.
Well then, it's a plan, right? Well, a prettier sight I never did see. You, a very fine evening to you, young ladies.
Look who he's calling young.
Me favorite time of day is perfect for a stroll. Don't mind if I ask, what you care for a stroll, miss?
Oh, look who he's calling Miss. And I suppose you'd like to offer me your arm as well. Save yourself the trouble. Not interested.
Oh, come on now. Where's up one of that? Can't you see I'll break us formal lot into pieces after you refuse him? Okay. Easy on his arm then. Last time he fell over, he broke his elbow, he did. Lift! There we are. Good as new.
I'd rather break his heart to pieces than take a step with him. Or you, for that matter.
I'll take that. As a sure sign, she's decided not to come.
They were right about you and that brain of yours, young man. You're making good use of it. Well done.
Well, if you don't want to come, pity for you then. And whatever it is you brought from the that box of yours is worth staying here for. Good day to you, Mum.
Whatever it is I got into my box. As if he would know. Ah! A princess! Those sneaky scoundrels have stolen my princess. No matter. Even they can't keep her from me.
And it's corn breaks. But the princess, is she safe? Aye, we got the look sharp lads. We've been invaded. And just who is it who comes to break in on our cardboard town?
I am Prince Law, and I come from Nod, and I am in search of a girl with hair as fair as the sun, and eyes that shine like sapphires.
And just what is it as you want with her?
I come to see the thorn of ice melted in her heart.
Who said she's got a thorn of ice in her heart?
Oh, it's a thorn of ice, visible in every word she speaks.
Aye, there can be no doubt about it. That's our princess through and through.
And just what are you going to do to bring about the melting of this here thorn?
The only thing I can do, I will show her kindness.
A man after me on art. Right this way, sir.
There you are, Princess. I made this blanket myself for it. Mom says it's my best one. Sorry I don't have anything real for you.
She's in a bad way, mate. Hands like ice and feet like snow. I ain't no doctor, but she'll not make it through the night if the temperature, she said.
Then we mustn't waste any time.
Good, lads. Rustle up all the sheets you can find. We'll sack the whole of cardboard town if we've got to keep on warm through the night. Quickly now, the quicker that's done, the faster we can find the king.
My father? The king? Is he here?
Not yet, Princess, but he will be.
Oh, it's you. Didn't my father come? He hasn't forgotten, has he?
Easy does it now, Princess. We'll send for your father, and he'll be here before long.
I'm so cold.
Yes, Princess, I know.
You just set your mind at ease and rest. That's a great girl. Over here.
Is this your daughter?
No. Please, not back up. You see, my good wife and I brought her under a roof as to keep her off the streets. But don't look so pained now, Princess. I'm sure you needn't bother yourself with our lives, yeah?
Oh, but you're quite mistaken. I once lived here too.
You? On the streets of Hardboy Town? Pardon me if I have a hard time believing you.
Oh, but it's quite true. I'd simply forgotten, that's all. But now, I begin to remember.
I saw her once upon a time. Her heart was cold. My sword would not break the ice. Kindness must take hold.
I loved her once upon a time.
I've never known ants to be so cold.
You've done all you could. It will be enough.
Forgive me, Father. I'm sorry.
They were the first kind words that the princess had ever thought. The first kind words she had ever spoken. And the moment they left her lips, the thing that had never been was, and it began to snow.
Oh, no. Not that. Anything but that.
The first snowflake fell on the princess's lap. Where it fell, there grew a wondrous rose, all aflame with an intense fire. The rose that never was, the flame to melt the ice. Without a thought, Arabella reached out and touched the one thing in all the world that was as hot as her heart was cold. Instantly, the thorn of ice melted. The clock struck 6. The ice was melted. The curse was broken. And then the very last snowflake from the snow that isn't twice landed in the lap of the Witch of What?
I feel so cold.
Looks like she's frozen, sire.
Someone decides clean through fire to judge.
Cold as a snowflake at Christmas time.
So she is, my friends, so she is. Well, take her away. Crow she is, and crow she'll be. Unless, perhaps one day, she touches the one thing in all the world that is hot as her heart. Oh, my God.
Farewell, blow that king is. I wonder we could make a play about a tale like this someday. And we're going to perform it in the castle.
The king himself couldn't wish for better.
But of course, you don't really care much for theater. You only wish to right the wrongs and sing the songs, then turn what ought not to be into what ought. And you are waiting very patiently to know what's become of the princess. And for that,